Thanks for staying with News at Prime. It's a pleasure to have you with us tonight. Veteran actor Patrick Shai says he was shot 11 times with rubber bullets. This is while trying to intervene in a standoff between Soweto residents and police. Some Mmesi Park residents in Dobsonville have been protesting after the electricity was disconnected on Friday. Shai had to be rushed to a hospital earlier in the day for treatment. He's not been discharged. He joins me from his home tonight. And Dr. Shai, thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure to have you with us tonight. What a day you've had, perhaps in your own words. Describe it for us.
Good evening, Kathy, and good evening to the viewers. Today, it's been one of those days that I can't find words to describe. I arrived back from an interview early this morning, and I then decided to go and buy bread and the daily newspapers from the garage locally here, just around the corner from my house. And obviously, a service delivery protest over electricity was taking place, and I was never part of that. But I then saw there was a conversation between the police or agents of the police, I don't know which department they come from or what unit they come from, with some of the leadership of that community. And one of the boys tried to put a tire on a fire that was flaming already. And I said to him, please do not do that. Do not do that. We don't want that. There's an altercation between him and one of the police. And one of the police. And I said to him, come on, my brother, you can't be saying this. That language is not in line with public order policing, if there's anything like that. I think you are more trained and better trained to be able to respond to these situations than go and run for your guns. And the other guy then turned around and said to me, well, you talk to them, but I'm saying I'm talking to you because you are trained. And they left. And I'm standing between the community and the police, and as they cocked their guns, I didn't even think they would fire. And there's me standing with my arms up and pleading with them to say, come on guys, please don't use your firearms. Don't use the firepower. We don't need another Marikana. We don't need another Andres Tatane. Please don't. But they were advancing, and without a warning, a shot was fired. And as I turned to run, it rained on me. And by the time I got to some place of safety, I then realized that I've been shot close to 11 times precisely, 11 times. For me, it is shocking, Kathy, that the police would always respond with firepower in situations such as this, even where it is not necessary. And this is a classical case of excessive use, unwarrantedly so, by the police. When somebody is there saying, we don't have to go this route, and they turn their guns on somebody who is the voice of reason, what is happening to this country? I mean, we come from an establishment that was so brutal, the apartheid. But even they knew the laws. They would come and say, you have to disperse in 3 minutes, and then fire a warning shot. But this is a state of affairs. We have some kind of vandals who masquerade as policemen in our uniform, with our ammunition, with our guns. They turn them against us. I think the minister must really look into the quality of people and the character of people with serious dynamic family problems. It's like dogs of war. This South Africa cannot be like, National Geographics, where the wild dogs just go out and they are unleashed on people who are defenseless. It cannot be. I do not know. I just can't find it in me to understand what was the reason for them to open fire? When you want to disperse people, you fire in the air, and when they run, you don't shoot them at the back. You don't shoot them in the back. You don't do that because they are running away. If that is the primary objective of public policing on any other situation, when people run because you fired the shot, you don't shoot them in the back because they're running away. But I'll tell you why. The thinking is very simple. They fire the first shot, they create pandemonium, and the people run, as I did, and then they start firing at you from behind, and they know very well. You cannot look back and identify the person or people that are firing at you. So they can shoot at random. It's almost like a pack of wolves or dogs that they've smelled a scent of a prey, and they'll chase this prey. And this is what they did. Today I saw it with my eyes. I now fully understand, and I had a feeling of what Andries Tatani went through when just before he gave in to his injuries. I actually saw him. I have a feeling of how did the men in Marikana felt and what they went through when they were helpless and with nowhere to run to. And the police are relentlessly chasing and firing at us. I now know how Andries Tatani felt. I now know how hopeless the situation was for him. I did not fight. I did not do anything. I was the voice of reason. Why? Why South Africa it's like this? We just won the Springbok now. And now some rebels, some renegades masquerading as our police force. They can just be issued with guns and our beautiful uniform. I mean, serious.
Dr. Shai, I wonder that at any time while you were trying to intervene in the standoff between some members of the community and the police, you got a sense that the officers you were dealing with were well capacitated to handle or even diffuse the situation.
Well, by virtue of the fact that they're wearing the uniform, one is expecting them to be well equipped to deal or quell a situation such as this, especially after one of them had said, I will show them. Come, let's go, we will show them. And I plead with him and say, look, that is not the language in line with public order policing. You cannot use that language. I appeal to them to say, I think you're better trained. You're better trained to be able to rise above this situation. And these guys, the communities were not throwing anything. They were not even singing or marching. They never posed a threat except to have barricaded the streets. There's not one, Kathy, there is not even a traffic a light post, pole that was damaged. The businesses around the street, none of them were attacked. There was no vandalism of any sort or nature. For them to can come and lie if they are going to, because it's in their decorum to lie and say they were under attack. There is no such. I'm the one lucky Tatani, Andries Tatani, who lived to tell the story. Andries Tatani did not have the opportunity to tell the side of his story. I am very fortunate. I am very, very fortunate that I managed to run and spare my life. Hence, I can tell this story today. Many men and women who get brutalized by the police never have an opportunity like the one I have to say, this is what happened and it was unwarranted. There is no reason for me to doubt that a man in uniform can pose a threat to me or any other member of the society.
Sure. I wonder then, once the shots were fired and, as you were saying, you turned to run away, was there any assistance that was offered to you and maybe some of the other community members that may have been caught up in that hail of rubber bullets as far as medical attention and assistance goes? What happened after the firing stopped?
Look, I was attended to by members of the society. One was a paramedic. He's now retired, but he brought in some gauze and try to stop the bleeding because I've got one big gaping wound on my thigh, and my bum is raw. It's like I was gouged by some buffaloes or something like that. That's how potent these rubber bullets are. And I don't know why they continue to be police issue. I have no understanding in a country that purports to have the best constitution. You know, fundamentally so, we speak of that constitution, basic human rights, the Bill of Rights. And you still have police that can come into a situation they get issued with that. But anyway, the point is, I was attended to by members of the society, and I was driven by my daughter to the hospital here at September, where I was attended to by wonderful medical practitioners at the center. They did checks, they did the bloods, they did x-rays, and then they put a drip, and so on and so forth. And after 4 hours, I was then released to come home. I then went to the police station just to go and inquire what is the recourse, what is available to me, to what steps to take, Kathy. And guess what? This lady, who is one of the senior, I think is a colonel or something, but I can point him out, she then says this meeting was illegal. I say, no, I'm not here about that, because I'm not part of that. I'm here to say to you, I got shot for trying to be a voice of reason. That's why I'm here. And she says there is a public disorder charge that has been opened already. I said, well, if that be the case, it therefore means the police were qualified and justified to open fire because there was public disorder. And if there was, and there is such a charge, then I'm here because I must have been shot at because I was committing an act of public disorder. I was maybe doing that. Then in that case, lock me up. I said, lock me up if there's a charge.
Sure.
I'm here.
I wonder, Dr. Shai, what you want to see happen next. Will you be laying any charges? Have you taken this matter to investigating bodies like IPID, which of course would specifically deal with a case such as this?
Well, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. There's been quite high-level responses. People came to my house. They gave me numbers of IPID and even names of persons or people I should talk to who are well abreast with what happened. They just lodged a complaint against the police. And I said, no, that's not what I want. I cannot report a violation by a wolf to another wolf. I can't do that. So I need to go to IPID, and yes, tomorrow I will start with my traction to conversations with IPID and see how far we take this thing. I will also write to the Minister of the Police, because I don't think, look, I'm very angry with the police. I'm very angry with the Minister, but I do not think the Minister, is fully aware of the behavior of these people. Because the minister is going to come out and say, no, it was warranted. It is because there was this and that, to try and justify it. But our constitution does not allow for that. And I do not want to hear any excuse that the march was illegal. It cannot be illegal for a peace-loving citizen, self-respecting citizen of this country to try and mitigate peace. It cannot be illegal. It cannot be a crime. And it cannot be a crime, Kathy. And this is the crime that I committed? It cannot be. But I'll be taking this matter up. I'll take it with all the relevant bodies. If it needs be, even the president will be cited to respond because he appoints these people. He appoints them.
I wonder how much of your experience today has led to a loss of trust then in the South African police service, and how exactly you view the way that they do their work. Very briefly before I let you go.
We've heard these stories, but until it happens to you, you get a different perspective to that. My perspective about the police, it has been completely altered. Completely. If I were to say the things that I feel, it would make me un-South African. But I feel it has been completely altered. I do not see them as people that I can trust with my life. Not because of this, but because there are other cases, many cases, where police would come and shoot, and then if it's JMPD, Minar will come and give a statement about things that he was not there for. If it is the police, the minister or the MEC will come and say this and try and exonerate the animalistic behavior of our police. And it is not all of them. I want to believe it's not all of them. It's a few renegades, rebels who are not worthy of wearing our uniform, who should not be part of our police services.
All right. Dr. Shai, I know you've had a terribly long day, and certainly will give you then time to also get into the full recovery there. But as you heard, he's not letting this go down without a fight. He will be heading to IPID, writing to the Minister of Police, and if need be, even seeking the intervention of the president in getting to the bottom of what exactly happened today. He was trying to intervene in that particular protest when police then opened fire. He was caught in the crossfire of the hail of rubber bullets, shot 11 times. And as you can see tonight, he's at home recovering then from his injuries. Patrick Shai, let me thank you so much for your time. For now, let's take a look at the day's top stories.